Good morning, grade 9s, and happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. A couple of you have expressed that maybe we're moving a little bit fast, so that's okay. We'll slow things down a bit. We're done with short stories for now. We'll move on to something new tomorrow. So today you have a work period. I thought I would post up take up the answers on the Sidewalk Bleeding. For those of you that have not finished them yet. Also remember that the due dates aren't set in stone. If you want to hand stuff in late, I'm okay with that. It's not a big deal. Just don't leave things until, the last week. Because two things is you're going to have a hard time to catch up, and I don't want to be spending the last week with you guys marking constantly all the stuff that wasn't handed in close to the due date. So let's take a look at On the Sidewalk Bleeding. So I've left this up here, the audiobook, video adaptation. You didn't have to do anything for that. Comprehension questions, answer these in complete sentences. So, what effect does Andy's jacket have on the people who find him in the alley? Andy's jacket is branded with royals on the back, a notable gang in the area. People fear what the jacket represents, which is gang violence and the potential to get tangled up in this, as the couple that finds Andy say. So the jacket, we'll find out, it becomes the most important symbol within this story. Number 2, what are the reasons why these people do not help Andy? 3 people, 3 different answers. It's actually 4 people, but 3 sets of people. So the drunk guy is the first guy that comes up. He just thinks Andy is as drunk as he is and can't walk or get up. He says something along the lines of, "You must be as drunk as I am. Here, have another drink." He thinks he is doing Andy a favor by not calling the police, when in reality Andy is silently begging him to call the police. The couple, a younger couple, come into the alley to presumably kiss and escape the rain for a minute. They notice Andy as he is groaning on the ground. They stoop down to help him, but realize he is wearing a royal's coat, and Angela gets scared. She and her boyfriend Freddie both make it clear they don't want to get mixed up in this, referring to the gangs. They think that if they go and get a cop or something, that the rival gang, the Guardians, are going to find them and give them some trouble because they helped a royal, but that's just, The old lady, she only comes in briefly into the story. The old lady comes into the story last. She does not hear Andy over the driving rain on the trash can lids that she is rummaging through. She is also noted as being deaf. And I don't have it written down here, but the last person to come in is Angela, when she goes out looking for Andy after he hasn't come back for a while. At what point does Andy realize he is dying? So after the 4 people have come and gone from the alley, 4 people being the drunk, the couple, and the old lady, 4. And the rain continues to pour. Andy is contemplating his time with the royals and the significance of the jacket. He has also began to get cold. When before the rain was soothing because he was hot all over, he was feverish. Now he has become chilled and sad with the realization that he is going to die. What does Andy do with the last of his strength? How is this important to the overall theme of the story and the outcome of the conflict? With the last bit of strength, Andy rolls and removes his royal's jacket as he has been laying in the rain on the sidewalk. He has had time to contemplate his time with the royals and the importance of the jacket. He has figured that he wants to be known as Andy, not a royal. Andy knows that he wasn't stabbed because he is Andy, but rather because he is a royal. This is affirmed when the person who stabbed him said, "This is for you, royal," as he ran away after stabbing Andy. The jacket becomes the most important symbol in the story, and it is about not judging a book by its cover. At the end of the day, he is Andy, and he is a human being. However, all of this, although a great ending point for Andy to find his own identity, he does not get far away from the jacket, and when the cop finds him laying mere feet from his jacket, he picks it up And the story ends with a royal. What is the climax or turning point? If I had to pick a turning point or climax, is when he realizes that he needs to remove his jacket to be known as Andy instead of being known as a royal. This is the point when Andy realizes he would rather be known as Andy. And all of that gang stuff is not as important as Laura and being known as Andy. So list all the types of conflict evidence on the Sidewalk Bleeding and make sure to provide an explanation. So let's go up a bit here. Person versus person. Explanation. When the Guardian stabs Andy. Well, pretty straightforward there. Person versus self. Okay, so the next type of conflict is person versus self. Andy has some inner struggles as he lays dying. He contemplates the importance of the royals versus his life as Andy. And person versus nature. So throughout the duration of the story, it is pouring rain. This is cause for some conflict in the story, as the old lady cannot hear Andy when he calls out for help because of the rain. The rain is soothing at first for Andy, but as he lay dying, he starts to get cold, and the rain makes him colder. Why is the jacket so important in the story? The jacket is the most important symbol in the story, as it represents the Royals, a gang that Andy is in. It is also the reason why Andy gets stabbed in the first place, as the attacker yells, "This is for you, Royal," as he stabs him and runs away. As Andy lay dying, he realizes that he was not stabbed because he is Andy, but because of the jacket. So this is why, with his last bit of strength, Andy removes the jacket so he can be remembered as Andy and not a royal. However, this is to no avail, as the police officer sees his jacket laying mere feet away from him and picks it up and sees it is a royal jacket. From what point of view is the story told? So the story is told from third person. Some of you had mentioned that it was first person because I've included a quote for that here. "I don't want to die," he thought. "I haven't lived yet." But the rest of the story is told from third person. It's actually a limited omniscient narrator, as we just get the thoughts and feelings of Andy. We see the other characters in the story, but we're not revealed their inner thoughts and feelings. We just know what they're feeling from what they are saying back and forth to each other. We know that Angela and Freddie are scared of getting tangled up and messed up in this, but that's because they're conversing with each other. We know the old man's drunk because he's slurring his words. That's portrayed within the text of the story. We really don't know much about the old lady other than what we're told through Andy's kind of point of view. So we know what the other characters are saying, but we do not know what they are thinking unless we make that assumption based on what they're saying. "I don't want to die," he thought. "I haven't lived." So this is an example of how the author has revealed to us Andy's thoughts, and this is where it seems as though the story is told from first person perspective, but it is third person, except where Andy is revealing his thoughts to us. I'm going to show you here a little bit more. "I don't want to die," he thought. "I haven't lived yet." It seems very important to him that he take off the purple jacket. He was very close to dying. Let's go up to the top and find another example. There was another thing he did not know. He did not know he was dying. He lay on the sidewalk bleeding, and he thought only that was a fierce rumble. They got me good that time. So here, right there, we're getting the thoughts and feelings of Andy, but none of the other characters' thoughts. Also this, he could hear the sound of automobile tires hushed on the rain-swept streets. If it was first-person perspective, this would read, "I could hear the sound of automobile tires hushed on the rain-swept streets." But I'm just showing you how this is, in fact, limited omniscience narration. The last question, what is the lesson that Evan Hunter is trying to portray in the story on the Sidewalk Bleeding? I think the message or lesson that Evan Hunter is trying to portray is that we should not judge a person based on what they were wearing or what they look like. Andy struggled with the idea that he was stabbed because of the jacket. "That's for you, Royal," echoing through Andy's head as he realizes he was only stabbed because of the jacket. People do not help him because they're afraid of the consequences, helping a rival gang member. I think the ultimate message that Hunter is trying to portray is that at the end of the day, we're all humans on different paths. But if our paths cross and someone needs help, then you should help them. And that concludes the take-up for On the Sidewalk Bleeding.